Hello, it's Feathered Lamb. Before we start the topic of this video, this illustration was done in June 2022. Many of us can see the wide spectrum of color, and they are an important part of everyday life. But what is the impact of color psychology in art? The idea was discovered, or rather theorized, by artist Johann Wolfgang. He published Theory of Colors, where he speaks on how each color elicits specific emotions. When the book came out, scientists rejected the idea because it was mostly just Wolfgang's opinions. However, modern research validated his overall theory that colors do affect our moods. In 1942, Kurt Goldstein, a neuropsychologist, was one of the first to do any research. He conducted a series of experiments on 5 patients to determine if colors could affect motor functions. He noted red increased their symptoms of balance problems and tremors. Green decreased their symptoms and even improved their overall motor functions. His hypothesis was that red is a stimulating color and green is a calming one. And he was right. Unlike Dr. Goldstein, when verifying the responses of color physiologically, modern researchers measure blood pressure, heart rate, and electrical activity on the brain. In other words, not just observations on how a patient seems to react, but how the body actually reacts. Colors that are stimulating increase these responses, while colors that are calming decrease them. Studies show warm colors in general, not just red, are stimulating, and cool colors, not just green, are calming. Modern psychology also focuses on preferences and the effect color has on emotions and behavior. Eysenck, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, in 1940 was the first to observe most people consistently rate blue as their preferred color, followed by red or green. This coincides with the current understanding of our eyes and how they see color. We have around 6 to 7 million cones, and they're usually divided as red, green, and blue. These cones provide eye color sensitivity. Green and red cones are concentrated together, but blue cones are found separately, where it leads to distinction in the eye's blue perception. Blue has the highest sensitivity. Color psychology isn't just how the brain reacts physically to them, though. Part of color psychology is the culture, or associations. Color association is incredibly important in art because depending on the mood you want to evoke and the story you want to tell, the colors you choose serve to drive your point across. For example, purple is usually associated with elegance and royalty. This has been the case for centuries. The purple dye, Tyrian purple, came from a species of sea snails. It was so rare that it became worth its weight in gold. The process of creating this dye was very involved, with the cracking of the snail's shell, extracting of the purple producing mucus, and exposing to sunlight for a specific amount of time. It took as many as 250,000 of these snails to produce 1 singular ounce of usable dye, which is actually insane to think about. So of course, only monarchs and the wealthy could buy. While the color became widely available by 1850, when the first synthetic dye hit the market, the association to the color has remained. I found this website literally called colorpsychology.org that you can use for some general color associations. The link will be in the description box. Now, let's take this concept into practice. I didn't use this website when I created my artwork, but I'm going to use it in my explanation for better understanding. It's important to know the story before choosing colors. Usually I see both in my mind as I'm planning, but I still take the time to think about it more before I start painting. This illustration is a zoomed-in shot of a woman's face. The moment depicts her stumbling upon a group of people in the forest. Her backstory is that she's an outsider where she's from, a witch, and she's decided to leave to search for others like her. While venturing in the forest, she accidentally makes her way into a bonfire, and there's a ragtag group of people eating and chatting. It is implied she's found her place. With this story in mind, let's talk color. The background and the cape are pewter, a dark gray with blue undertones. It's a neutral color linked to maturity, responsibility, and commitment. It also can be linked to depression, loss, and loneliness. This perfectly embodies the character's journey. The background also has black as well as her hair. For this illustration, this color follows the themes of depression, secrets, and aloofness. On a more positive note, black can also be associated with beginning and endings, strength, mystery, and even comfort. In order to reach her destination, the character goes through a section of purple flowers. Purple is the color of contemplation, introspection, mystery, and intrigue. Purple can also symbolize bravery and courage. On a psychological level, purple is calming, helps alleviate anxiety, and brings peace. It is also associated with wisdom, deep understanding, and respect. The last color I'm going to mention, which is the one I wanted to pop the most, is orange. However, color psychology has the perfect name for the color I actually used: burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is really a brown shade that elicits feeling of security and comfort, but it relies on red, which is why it looks orange. The red is excitement and action. It hints at dissatisfaction with the status quo. The red essentially adds passion to the desire for a home that the brown provides. And just like that, color kind of tells the story all on its own. But in reality, they helped further the actual story that I crafted, the mood and the meaning behind it. Anyway, before I go, I do want to say that this is one of those illustrations that I've been thinking about expanding into a full scene and not just her face. I'll make no promises, of course, but it is something that I've been considering and thought to let you know. I hope you've enjoyed this video, liked all the little fun facts surrounding the psychology of colors, and that you're able to further your own color journey in art with more confidence and intent. Thank you for tuning in. Click on the white subscribe button down below. You will know when you are subscribed when it turns from white to gray. Have a magical day.